Welcome to episode 1, the first episode of the Tendo Show. That's what I'm going to call it. We're going to call it the Tendo Show. Will it stick? I think so. I think we'll call it the Tendo Show, for now at least. And yeah, this is history. Episode 1 of the Tendo Show, where we talk about the best sports, the best entertainment currently on the planet. And tonight, I'll be talking about, you know what? I say tonight as if it won't be every night. Most nights. Look at the setup. We've got the darts here. We've got GP in the back. And we've got the best WWE Championship ever designed to my left, to your right, whichever. There's going to be a lot of pro wrestling. Whether it's a sport or entertainment, it's entertainment. But some people call it a sport, and I'm totally cool with it. Pro wrestling, mixed martial arts, juicy story in mixed martial arts, to be fair. And darts. Not much F1, obviously the season's just finished, but obviously when that comes around in February, when we see footage of, say, testing, and then the car reveals and the season starts next year in February, Marchish, then there'll be a lot more to talk about F1. But right now, there's nothing to talk about in F1, really. We've got, what's his name? Bin Sulayem, who's been reaccounted as, he's been made the president of Formula One or the FIA, whichever one. I should have done more research into that. But there were no other people who wanted to go for that role, so he had it in the bag, basically. But yeah, no F1 tonight, just pro wrestling, darts, and mixed martial arts. So we'll start with the biggest event that happened in the weekend. I need to stop knocking this table. We'll start with the biggest event that happened this weekend, John Cena's retirement match. For those who don't know, do you live under a rock? How would you not know? John Cena tapped out to Gunther. And a lot of people didn't like this because it was John Cena giving up. He did tap out, or he's been submitted by the man who can't be named, Kurt Angle. Those are the ones I saw anyway. And people are thinking, it's awful how he's given up. But I think, look at the way he did it. It was a grueling match. And he was smiling. He wasn't suffering. He was smiling. And he had that look on his face where it was like, you know what? This is it for me. And I'm cool with it. This is it for me. And I'm cool with it. There was an Instagram video or YouTube Shorts video or a video I saw of some guy talking about how we forget how pro wrestling storytelling. And he made a good point, and I remembered it after. That not the whole match, but especially the ending, it was Gunther absolutely raining down with clotheslines, wearing Cena down with elbows to the neck, Cena getting into a choke, fighting out of it. The same thing happened. He'd get into a choke, he fight out of it. And logically, in his mind, he's going to be like, right, well, this is just going to keep on happening over and over and over again. I'm going to have my neck bludgeoned. I'm going to be put into a sleeper hold. I'm going to escape. I'm going to have my neck bludgeoned, put into a sleeper hold, and I'm going to escape over and over and over again. It's like it's a catch-22 or whatever you call it. He's just going to keep on getting the same situation. He's going to go nowhere. And he was cool and satisfied with that being the end. And you know what? I didn't really mind it, and I especially didn't mind it once I'd watched that video. But there's a lot of people who are disappointed and angry with it, and I totally get it. But I thought it was very interesting. It was very you can't deny it was a very interesting way of finishing it. One thing I thought ruined it, however, is Triple H came out with all the other superstars and they booed the absolute living daylights out of him. And I think, I'm watching this, and I think, this is John Cena's retirement of in-ring competition, and it's going to be, I think personally, tainted a tiny bit by the boos. Sure, you could call the boos, it could symbolise the immense support Cena's got, for sure, but it's meant to be it's sad, but it's meant to be a happy occasion. We're here to celebrate John Cena, and it's being, booed when Triple H comes out. Personally, at the time of watching, I didn't like that one bit. I think they should have either cheered. Obviously, actually, that's stupid of me. They're not going to cheer for the guy who booked him to lose by tap out. They should have just said nothing, I think. Should have just said nothing, because, it's bigger than, people's opinions. It is John Cena. This is the one time it was all about John Cena, and John Cena could have been selfish. And that, to be honest, that was one of the things I was thinking about. The whole card, you had Oberfami, Cody Rhodes, you had Sol Ruka and Bailey, and you had Javon Evans and Leon Slater versus Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. And then, obviously, Gunther being handed the torch by beating John Cena. The whole card was based on the future stars. Obafemi's obviously going to be a force. One of my personal favourites. Obafemi's going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with. Sol Ruka's got a lot of support, and fans are loving seeing Sol Ruka. And no one can deny the amount of hype and momentum behind Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Initially, I wasn't a fan of Javon Evans, but you know what? Then I watched him. So that's all I've got to say. If you're not a fan of Javon Evans, you haven't watched him. And yeah, this whole event was just all about passing the torch. Obafemi is going to be the next big guy, hopefully. Sol Ruka has got a great potential. And then obviously Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Leon Slater being in TNA, at least Javon Evans kind of got a head start being on NXT, but Leon Slater as well, from England, get up. They're both of them are on track for great careers. Even Dragon Lee. AJ Styles in his late 40s. Dragon Lee, I don't think is in his 40s. Maybe he is. At least he'd be in his early 40s, but surely Dragon Lee's in his prime. He's in his 30s, I'd hope. So even for him, it's not like he's handing the torch to anyone. I mean, they won for crying out loud. But at least it just gave them the platform to be known on the last card, the last wrestling match of John Cena's career. So I thought that was really good. But then finally on this, well, not finally, I've still got some more things. Gunther is the biggest heel right now in professional wrestling. I haven't given this much thought, but I will say now, Gunther is the biggest heel in professional wrestling. He had to be escorted out the arena by security because there were fans booing and berating him as he made his way to his car. We saw and heard stuff about this back in the 80s and the 90s where fans were still unsure whether it was real or not. There were fans following Gunther to his car, booing him, berating him, shouting abuse. Thank God none of them touched him though. Thank God the fans still kept it respectful. They respected that he's just a father, he's just a husband, I think. He's just a human being playing a role. And props to the fans for taking the storyline beyond camera and beyond the arena and following him, berating him, shouting abuse at him as he went to his car. And that wasn't even put on WWE's television. That was just on social media. It's like how Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens had their altercation recorded by fans outside the arena, and the WWE actually choreographed that to happen. So when you've got that much heat from fans where they're following you outside the arena as you go to your car, thank God none of them touched him, that just shows what this has done for Gunther. He was already a great star. I don't mind Gunther being the one who has the torch passed to him. Yes, it could have been someone like, Carmelo Hayes, Dominic Mysterio. But they've still got time. Gunther's 39. He's 39. And again, that's one of the reasons people don't like it, because he's so old and he's been handed such a feather in his cap by beating John Cena in his final match. He's 39. Chill out. It's not MMA. It's pro wrestling. You've still got a lot of time at 39 years of age. MMA, you don't. It's choreographed stage fighting. He'll be fine. He's going to be here for a long time, I beg. Biggest heel in professional wrestling right now. And then I saw some stuff about what people said themselves afterwards. We had The Miz talk about on the post show. He said it's exactly what should have happened for this final match, John Cena match. So The Miz thinks the match was done perfectly, and he thinks it's well deserved win for Gunther, and he's ready for the push. And Gunther will be on Raw as well. Sorry, I'll get to that later on. And then we also had from Mark Henry. He was on Busted Open Radio, saying how backstage, how he walked into the back to do a broadcast, and there was a line of about 30 or 40 people to get to John, hugging and consoling him. Said that on Busted Open Radio. I mean, look, the love and adoration kept on going even after the camera stopped rolling. Who doesn't love John Cena? And yeah, he said the last time he'd seen people this emotional was after someone had passed away or something. So, I mean, look, that's just a testament to what John Cena meant to, even I'd say wrestling fans, hardcore wrestling fans, casual wrestling fans, and even people who watched it as a kid and didn't watch it ever again once they matured, whatever, they still knew John Cena, and I'm sure he still had a significant part in their childhood and in their life. John Cena was never part of my childhood. I started watching professional wrestling in 2016. So John Cena was my personal favourite is AJ Styles. John Cena's never, ever been a part of my childhood. but I still shed a tear, you know, for that video package after John Cena's match. I said to people, ask me, you know, are you going to cry? I've got a friend who I do kickboxing with, and John Cena was part of his childhood, and he said he'd cry, and I said, I recognise that he's the greatest of all time, and I understand what he means to people, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon I wasn't even a part of. John Cena was never part of my childhood. However, I respect and realise the significance of this. As I said, I started watching professional wrestling in 2016, stopped in the summer of 21, and then got back into it Royal Rumble 2024. And I said I wouldn't cry. I said it would be surreal, it would be emotional, but I said I wouldn't cry, and I didn't cry until Triple H pointed up at the screen, and that music played, and I thought, oh my God. And I was just like a weeping little, you know, I don't want to really swear to be honest, but I was a heap of a mess. I wasn't bawling my eyes out, but I didn't cry, but tears fell down my face, okay? Yeah, it was emotional. But thank you, John Cena. Thank you for everything he's done for not just pro wrestling fans, but just people. Just people. John Cena and The Rock are a rare occasion where they transcend beyond pro wrestling itself. But you could really say John Cena did more for kind of... This isn't me slandering The Rock, but The Rock is cool. He's big, masculine, strong, a movie star. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure a lot of people... The Rock inspired a lot of people for John Cena, but John Cena had the most Make-A-Wish appointments, or whatever you'd call them. And I feel like he probably inspired and motivated more people. And he even inspired me. After this weekend, it's inspired me to work harder. But yeah, we'll cut it there with John Cena. But yeah, thank you, John Cena. You are... It's The Undertaker and John Cena, because I am very much on The Undertaker hype train. Now, but to be fair, the greatest of all time is John Cena. The best of all time, you could say, is The Undertaker, because he's got longevity. He held the character for so long. People thought he was literally dead. This isn't about The Undertaker. What am I doing? What am I doing? This isn't about The Undertaker. It's about John Cena. John Cena, you are the greatest of all time. And this retirement is way long overdue. And yeah, thank you very much. Anyway, moving on. Mixed martial arts. Ilia Topuria. Let's just take a step back. We can't just go from such a deep conversation, such a deep topic, and then just switch. Regain. Right. Mixed martial arts now. Real fighting. As a spider. Jesus Christ. Mixed martial arts. Knocked him out, bastard. Ilia Topuria has gone quite big in the news. Literally today. Well, I'm recording this probably past midnight, so yesterday technically. But as of Monday 15th, and over the weekend, there's been rumblings the past week, I feel, anyway. But it's properly come out on Monday. Topuria is facing legal battles with his wife because basically she's pressing him and charging him for domestic abuse allegations. The information I got is from MMA Junkie by Farah Hanoun. Yeah, and basically, apparently it appears he'll be out for even longer. So even longer, I think it was the first quarter he said that he'd be out. It's going to be even longer than that now. I have no problems with it. Look, bro, you've got your issues. I don't know anything about, what it'd be like to go through a marriage or a brutal breakup or, something crazy going on in your relationship. So I've got really no say in this. So, you do we've got an interim title fight coming on right now. So we'll have someone with a belt in the division while you're gone. Take your step aside. And yeah, allegations of domestic abuse. Yeah, so he's going to temporarily be away from defending. There've been audio recordings brought up. There have been written communications brought up. There's been witness statements brought up. And there's been videos brought up in this case. And what Ilia said was, one of the things he said, silence allows false narratives to take hold, because he said he's not going to stay quiet on it. Yes, it's a very private matter. You don't really want people to be knowing about the struggles in your marriage or lack of a marriage now, unfortunately. You got to feel for him. But he thought he at least needs to say something so that no rumours of anything false happen. And yeah, he's saying it's allegations of domestic abuse, and he's denying them. You'd hope, right? And yeah, silence allows false narratives. Pretty wise words, if you ask me. Pretty wise words. Silence allows false narratives to take hold. If you let people speculate, if you let people make up their own assumptions, and let people make up their own truth and their own opinion of what's happened, all hell can break loose. All hell can break loose. God knows what the MMA fans could have come up with if Ilia Topuria hadn't have come out and just said it straight. I'm dealing with allegations of domestic abuse. I'm going to be out for longer. But yeah, however, he will not comment further on the case. So this could be all the information we get for at least a long time. And yeah, hopefully it gets dealt with fairly, correctly, and hopefully the right outcome arises. And yeah, so pretty much this is now the lightweight division being put on standstill. We do have, well, actually not really, because we do obviously have the interim title fight coming up. So it's slow moving traffic. Yeah, it's slow moving traffic. And we've got Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett in it for the interim title. It should be Arman, but whatever UFC, whatever Dana White. It's going to be Paddy and Gaethje for the interim title. The winner will obviously go and face Ilia. But to be fair, look, let's say he said he'd be out the first quarter, at least first 4 months, I think, is where I'm getting this from. This fight's in January or February, 6 weeks in between. Yeah, I think January, late January anyway, early February for sure. Start of the year. I mean, let's say, hopefully Ilia's back by the summer. That's only 5 months in between we'd have to wait. That's not too bad. And then hopefully maybe Ilia gets in, maybe we get another lightweight title match near the end of the year of 2026. Who knows? But yeah, unfortunate for the Topuria. I say Topuria household, but it's just Ilia Topuria who's got that. Who will probably have that last name by the end of this. Yeah, unfortunate that this situation's going on, and hopefully the right thing, the correct procedures happen, and the right conclusion occurs. Darts. Now, the reason this is top of the show. The reason this is top of the show is because this is obviously the biggest thing going on right now. There's no F1. WWE, obviously John Cena's match over the weekend, that took top priority. That's why I thought it'd be great to start it. But however, in terms of longevity, darts is going on until the 3rd of January. We'll put it on the top of the show. And yeah, not really much. There are some good upsets, but I mean, some notable matches that have happened. So we've had Michael Smith 3-0 against Lisa Aston. Luke Littler 3-0 against Darius Labanauskas. Rob Cross beat Core Decker. We had here's an upset. We had Andreas Harrison versus Ross Smith. He beat him 3-2. I watched one of Andreas Harrison's first or second matches on one of like the World Series events, and he was just absolutely nailing the treble 20. And I thought, who is this guy? Who is this Andreas Harrison? See him on the next match or the next show, and he does pretty appalling. Is that too harsh to say? He didn't do great compared to what I saw previously. He did pretty. It was very contrasting. To what I saw. He was bad. So yeah, we've got Andreas Harrison upset 3-2 against Ross Smith. Jan van Veen's moved through. Gary Anderson 3-2 against Hunt. Paul Lim has moved through, brilliant. Or was it Paul Lim? Humphreys moved through. Joe Cullen's beat Bradley Brooks. Beveridge, what's his name? Ryan Beveridge? Brian Beveridge? Steve Beveridge? Something Beveridge. Ice cool beverage, 3-0 against Dimitri Vandenberg. It was quite sad to see. How badly Dimitri Vandenberg. He was missing whole segments. He'd go for a single 20 or a treble 20, and he'd get the 1 or the 5. He was missing whole segments, this guy. It wasn't like he was just struggling to score, struggling to get his doubles. He was missing where he wanted to go simply in sections of the board. It was a very, very disappointing performance. And I don't say that to criticise. I almost say that out of heartache and that I'm sad by it. I want to see prime Dimitri Vandenberg back, and he loses in a whitewash. And I'm not slandering Beveridge here, but you'd think at least it'd be competitive. Scoreline says 3-0, and it pretty much felt. Sometimes the scoreline doesn't tell the whole story. Sometimes it can be a really close match and it still be a whitewash. 3-0 kind of sums up the match perfectly. And then later on that evening, Bunting beat Sebastian Bielecki in a very. They had to go past. It was 2-2, 2 legs to 2. So they had to even go to win by 2, which was it was nerve wracking. I don't even have a prejudice to any darts player. I don't have any prejudice to Bielecki or Bunting. But even then, I was really nervous for this one. Oh my lord, Charlie Manby beat Cameron Menzies, and to be fair, the story was taken by after the match. If you haven't seen it, it was a close match again, 3-2. There were 2-2, and I think Manby was in the 5th set, 2 legs to Menzies 1. Yeah, he would have been because he got the 3rd leg and won the game. It was a close game. Manby gets the double 1 to win, and Menzies absolutely drills a hole in the table. He's throwing uppercut after uppercut after uppercut on this poor table. The crowd start booing him. He then apologises. I'm sorry. It's, I shouldn't have done that. Excuse me? That's brilliant. That is what I call peak entertainment. That is what I want to see when it comes to the darts. Passion, controversy. Someone doing something they shouldn't really be doing, but we love it anyway. He beat the living daylight out of the table because he lost again. And I understand it. I don't understand why people were booing this guy. Why are people booing this guy? He's just lost a stupidly close match. Had darts to make the legs level, to make it 2-2 and have to win by 2. And the guy he's going against misses double 4, single 4, misses double 2, single 2. And then he's obviously hopefully he misses double 1, preferably on the inside. Gets double 1 at the last moment. You can understand him absolutely wailing knockout Francis Ngannou punches to his table. I love it. That is what we call. That's why Gerwyn Price is my favourite, right? I need to be unbiased here, but that's why Gerwyn Price is my favourite, because he has passion. And that is what I like to see. I like to see a guy win and scream his head off, and I like to see a guy lose and beat the living daylights out of the table. I loved it. Peter Wright beat Noah Lynn van Leuven 3-0. Dirk van Doven van Bode 3-2 against Bartons. Johnny Clayton beat Lipscombe. Is that how you say it? Lipscombe, whatever. 3-1. And then Connor Scott beat Simon Whitlock 3-2. A great step up in levels. Connor Scott is now leveled up after that. The Connor Scott we've seen throughout definitely the first half of the year. I mean, he beat Gerwyn Price at that event in the first half of the year. That showed signs of a new prominent young star. He loses a couple matches after. I think, did he lose to Littler? Did he play Littler or was it Rock? He played Littler or Rock. Lost to him. That's fine. He's beaten Simon Whitlock, who's only here because, I say only as if I'm slandering him, who's here because he won the Australian Premier League, if you didn't know. That's how he qualified for the World Championship. Connor Scott beats him 3-2. Incredible win by Connor Scott. That is what he needs. That is what he needs to have confidence of. Okay, now I can start competing with some of the main level guys. He may not be beating Premier League level stars and, James Wade, Aspinall, Josh Rock, maybe even Watamena. Watamena's great on a good day. Danny Nopper, and obviously the Premier League guys who played this year. He might, probably definitely lose to those guys. He might have a good chance against Watamena, to be fair. But that will give him confidence to at least I'll be able to compete and maybe even get a bit nervous of, okay, we're in a 1st to 6 match here. I'm 4 legs to 2. He's not gone, but he's still there. Great for Connor Scott. A lot of stuff. That was only 3. It was 3 sports, but quite a few topics. And then let's go to what's coming up. What's coming up in the world of darts, WWE, and AEW, especially for the British fans. They've just been to Wales, right? I'm pretty sure. Cardiff for Collision. Yeah, they went to Cardiff for Collision. Yeah, nothing on MMA coming up unless I'm living under a rock. But upcoming matches. I'll just do an overview of the upcoming matches for darts. I need to make sure I don't also waffle near the end of this show because I've only got so much storage on my phone and we're already at 25 minutes. I've probably got maybe, I might have 45 minutes of storage here on my phone. Anyway, upcoming in the world of darts, World Championship. So some notable matches I think were worth mentioning. So today, Tuesday at lunchtime, we've got Scott Williams. He's playing Chris Dobie as well. We've got Ricardo Pietreczko. This is in the evening now on Tuesday. We've got Ricardo Pietreczko versus Jose de Souza. Danny Noppert. Gerwin Price. I don't really care about it. Who? I think Gerwin Price is alright. I don't really know much about him. I think he's okay. Yeah, I guess, good luck to him, I guess. I don't really care who wins that one, to be honest. Yeah, those are notable matches for Tuesday. Wednesday, Raymond van Barneveld versus Steve Belmont. And this is all in the evening, by the way. In the evening, Raymond van Barneveld, James Wade and Martin Schindler in the evening, Wednesday. Thursday, in the afternoon for lunchtime. Is my hair showing too? I don't want to be looking down too much. Thursday in the afternoon, we've got Ryan Joyce. He's playing Mike DeDecker, and then in the evening we've got Jermaine Watamena, Dave Chisnell versus Fallon Sherrock, and then Michael Van Gerwen as well Thursday evening, and then Friday. Friday's pretty important. Not for this, but also something else. Friday in the afternoon, Mickey Mansell versus Leonard Gates. Who doesn't love Leonard Gates? We love a bit of Leonard Gates. Yeah, that should be good. Josh Rock versus Gemma Hayter. And then in the evening, Daryl Gurney versus Bo Greaves. A winnable match for Bo Greaves. There have been people... Imagine drawing any of the Lukes. Imagine drawing Gerwin Price. Imagine drawing Michael Van Gerwen. You're just there for the round one and just to lose, but just have a good time. This is very winnable for... you know what? I reckon she's the favourite, and deservedly so. But don't get me wrong, Daryl Gurney can still definitely win. When he's on, he's on. But yeah, I reckon that will be one of the more competitive matches of the championship so far. And then also Nathan Aspinall later in the evening. And then WWE, probably half an hour away as of recording. We've got Gunther on the show. I cannot wait for the reaction. For Gunther. He is going to be absolutely slaughtered by the crowd. But as long as he takes what he's now got, the hype, the reaction, the feeling from the fans, he needs to take it and run. Have him win the Royal Rumble. Who's champion? Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. Have him win the Royal Rumble. I feel like fans, obviously Cody Rhodes is the top guy, but I feel like fans kind of like CM Punk more because it's CM. Actually, that might be false. Maybe equally, but CM Punk's he's come back, and he's got that aura about him. I thought my phone turned off then. He's got that aura about him. Look, whoever the fans love more, have Gunther win the Royal Rumble and then have him fight the person who the fans love more and have him decimate them at WrestleMania. He couldn't be more hated. Have him retire Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho if he comes back, Edge if he comes back. He could not be hated anymore. I reckon I'd actually fear for his safety. I'm not promoting or saying anyone should do anything violent. But fans can be psychos, bro. So Gunther needs to take what he's got now and run with it. He's been given, not the ball, he's been given the baton, the torch, and he needs to run with it. CM Punk as well will be on the show. Hopefully there'll be some comeuppances with Bron Breakker. Stephanie Vaquer will defend her championship against Raquel Rodriguez. I'm actually quite excited about that. Now we're seeing Raquel Rodriguez being put in a main spot. Let's see what she can do with it. Let's see what... you know what? I'm open-minded about this. Let's see what she can do with this. Maxine Dupree as well is defending her title. So we've got the two Raw Women's Championships on the line tonight. She'll be defending it against Ivy now. And then, my lordy lord, the Usos, bro. The Usos versus the New Day. A blast from the past. A blast from the past, as I like to say. A blast from... I've said it 3 times now. A blast from the past. The Usos. Right? 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, WrestleMania 35, that incredible entrance with the Uso thing on the big TV screen. I'll always remember that. Usos versus the New Day, Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. a solid, you know what, no, a great Monday Night Raw, and let's see what happens. That's only the blueprint, that's only what's on paper, that's only what we've got now. Let's see what happens. And then AEW, I don't really see myself talking too much about AEW. One, because it's hard to watch. It's hard to find places to watch it, like, because it's expensive. It's expensive, and I don't want to have so many subscriptions that I've got to watch Netflix for that, to watch UFC Fight Pass, to watch PDC TV, Sky Sports, and then also AEW as well. That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money. But I watch all the highlights and stuff. But the reason it's important is because for all the British fans, it's in Manchester. Wednesday, it's in Manchester. Holiday Bash. They're doing both Dynamite and Collision on the same night. Wednesday, 17th of December, Holiday Bash. I could have been there, but I'm home. So I went to Forbidden Door, if that matters. But yeah, AEW, Holiday Bash, Dynamite / Collision in Manchester. Yeah, come to the UK more. Come to the UK more. And also, look, I'm not slandering WWE here, but AEW is great for price. I went to the show. I went to Forbidden Door, had good seats, didn't need to look at the screens. And that was, what, £89, I think? So, yeah. AEW is great. People who trash AEW, it's like, bro, what are you talking about, man? Why would you trash AEW? Sure, the storylines are a bit more short-wind. They don't go as long as WWE. But, like, bro, the in-ring... Look, you can't deny the in-ring competition. The in-ring is better than WWE. Because they're hunting for the 5 stars, right? It's great. If you don't like AEW, it's because you don't watch it. Watch it and you'll love it. But, yeah. I think that's all we've got to talk about tonight. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm thinking of when to do the Tendo Show. This is episode 1. We're witnessing history, okay? We're witnessing history, okay? What do we think of the backdrop? Look, I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of this. Unbiased. Episode 1, in the books. What did I just do? In the books. And I was thinking, Mondays and Fridays, sure, I'll have videos in between, but Mondays is good because you would have had either a pay-per-view, or UFC, or F1, or obviously a darts tournament. Then you've got lots of stuff to talk about on the Monday evening. You know, you've got press conferences to watch after the events, and then you've got Monday to dissect them and then talk about. You'll have things run through in the week, and then you'll have Friday to make a show of what's coming up in the weekend. You could do Thursday or Friday. I reckon I'll do Friday. I reckon I'll do Monday and Friday to talk about what's going to come up in the weekend. Don't get me wrong, I'd do it every day if I could, but my equipment is subpar and my phone annoys me because of how little storage it's got. I probably need to wrap this up quickly, so I don't want it to run out. Monday and Friday. I'll say this, Monday and Friday, the Tendo Show will be on, and then obviously probably uploaded. I'll upload them as quick as possible. I mean, look, I'll do this and then upload it straight away, to be fair. Yeah. That's it. That's all I've got to talk about. That was episode 1 of the Tendo Show. You have witnessed history, hopefully, because, you know, I want to do as much as I can with the Tendo Show. I love that it's got my name in it. I'm really proud of that, really creative. The Tendo Show, episode 1, Mondays and Fridays. Catch me every single time for the best breakdowns and the best analysisms of the best shows for sports in the world. Pro wrestling, goated. F1, goated. I'm going to be watching more F2 and F3 as well next year, hopefully. Dart, goated. And obviously combat sports, absolutely goated. I've been your host, Tendo. I hope you've enjoyed, and make sure to catch me for the next video. Thank you very much.